We're at the Capitol Hotel in Sandton, Johannesburg, where the Judicial Conduct Tribunal is set to, on Monday, resume its hearings into allegations of sexual harassment against Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge. Now, the last time the tribunal convened was in January this year, where it heard testimony from Andiswa Mengo, a High Court secretary in the division that is led by the Eastern Cape Judge President, where she detailed in quite great lengths the interactions that she had with the Judge President between 2021 and 2022. Now, what do we know? We do know that her complaint was laid in 2023 after a series of WhatsApp exchanges between herself and the head of the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court. Some of those exchanges were quite explicit in nature. In fact, she detailed some of the salacious messages that she received from the Judge President. But what is in dispute before the tribunal? Well, the Judge President alleges that the interactions were in fact consensual and that in fact he did not get an indication that they were unwanted, which is what the tribunal will be tasked with establishing. Were the interactions between the pair or the parties unwanted between the period, the 15-month period, the 16-month period in question? What are some of the details that have been highlighted before the tribunal? One, Mengo alleges that the Judge President, beginning in the period around June 2021, started inquiring about her body, for example, also inquiring about her favorite sexual positions. Also alleging that the Judge President attempted to expose himself to her in his chambers around 2022, towards the end of that period in question. Now, what is the Judge President himself saying? Well, he says that the interactions were consensual and that there was no indication from the complainant, that is Andiswa Mengo, that the interactions were not welcome. In fact, the Judge President, through his legal counsel during cross-examination in January, saying that, she called him daddy in one instance, also saying that in another instance, she wished him a happy Father's Day, and in another also called him cute. Now, the question that has been posed by the defense, and in an attempt to poke holes in her testimony and in her evidence in chief, is why she would respond in such a manner if she indeed did not want the attention that she got from the top jurist in the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court. But what is Mengo's defense in this regard? Well, she alleges that because she's a single mother, also saying that this is her senior that is in question, and so she had to be mindful of the way that she responded to these unwanted sexual advances that were made towards her. Now, what are we likely to see as the tribunal reconvenes on Monday for a period of about 2 weeks? We do know that it is scheduled to take place or reconvene from the 5th of May 2025 until the 16th of May 2025. What we are likely to see are some of the witnesses on the defense's side or the respondent's side come out and give their testimony. We may see the Judge President himself give his testimony in the matter. So what have we seen unfold so far? Well, the establishment of the tribunal has triggered Section 177 of the Constitution, which essentially deals with the removal of judges from office. Well, how does the process start? The process starts with a complaint that is laid with the Judicial Service Commission, the JSC, that will then refer the complaint to the Judicial Conduct Committee. The Conduct Committee will then consider the complaint before it and decide whether there's a prima facie case for which the judge must answer. After which, it will send its recommendations for perhaps the establishment of a tribunal to the JSC, which will then establish a tribunal that has the power to subpoena witnesses and also to fully investigate the allegations of sexual harassment or any other complaint that have been leveled against a judge. Now, after that, after the tribunal has concluded its work, it will then compile a report, send it to the JSC, after which the JSC will then consider and confirm the finding that has been made by the JCT. Now, what happens if the JCT comes to a finding of gross misconduct against the judge? Well, then that process will unfold. The report will go to the JSC for consideration, after which the JSC may confirm that finding that has been made of gross misconduct against the judge. If the JSC confirms the gross misconduct finding against Judge Mbenenge, it will then send it to Parliament where there will be a vote. When the vote is tabled, a minimum of 267 MPs must vote in favor for the removal of the judge, after which it will go to the president, who will then effectively tell the judge when he will cease to occupy the position. After this, the judge loses the benefits that have been accrued to them. That is, they lose their lifetime salary of over 2 million rand, also losing benefits such as car allowance and things of that nature. So that is what it means at the moment. So what we're likely to see from Monday is witnesses being called to testify in the matter, as well as we may likely see the Judge President himself testifying in the matter.